How you guys doing? Welcome, and welcome to the Empire.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ryan. I'm the project director of this game that we are desperately trying to play, but it has been a rough ride tonight. So we've had our servers up for about 2 years now. We've been working on this game for 5 years, and in all of those years, I've never seen it like this before. It's something. It's something else. It's like we're just having a cascade failure of all of these things. So I do apologize. I wanted to hop on and have a little fun with you today. We might still be able to do that, honestly. I've kind of kicked, well, I didn't really kick the other people off. They just kind of left out of frustration. So we might have the servers kind of all to ourselves here, and that might mean that we can have a better experience than what everybody else has been having.
Being able to just talk about your vision of the game too, and being able to bounce things off of chat. That's what
really
we were
exciting.
really working towards, anyways.
Cool. Okay. Well, we're in here. I'm gonna clear the weather. We can go and let's see how much kind of simple stuff we can go and do. You got a bow already. I'm impressed. You've been working towards the quest line, so that's good. And we can just go chop down trees, maybe build a base, kill some mutants, and I will make a party here. I'll add you to a party, and yeah, I'm like, the most exciting thing for me is sitting down with communities and just talking about how we can make this the best survival game ever. So I'm going to let you lead the show. I'm here to answer questions in chat. I'll invite you to the party so that we can see where we are on the map. You can hit tab and go into the party.
Yep.
So,
and what's your party shortcut?
Oh, that's a good one. It's not. It used to be P. Let's find it. I don't know if we have a party shortcut. I just usually hit tab
and hit party.
Let's see.
Okay, so I did that for now. I see. All right, so we're in a party, and when I'm outside of, so there's no indication outside of inventory to see what party I'm in. Does it show me on my map where you are now that we're in a party?
Yeah, on the mini map it should show. So I am totally.
All right.
Hit this. Hold on. Let me just come back into the game here. There's this bug that's been patched but not pushed to Steam yet. That's just really annoying. Just don't hit N, whatever you do. It brings up the respawn screen and you can't get rid of it. Oh, but yeah, so once I come back in, you'll see me on your compass here at the top there, and you'll see a green triangle on your mini map. And if you hold down Control and mouse wheel, you can actually zoom in and out of your mini map to help you see.
Oh, wow, that's cool. That's very cool. I do like that you can scroll in and out of the map itself. That's very cool.
One of the things we focused on is certainly a good number of quality of life improvements in the survival experience, outside of stability issues that we're having right now. I really do feel like we're going kind of above and beyond what most survival games do, just to add some nice little things that make players' lives as easy as possible.
So I noticed that there is no UI for parties, though. Is that something that you're gonna keep? I can't see your health or your stamina.
Right. So I like that idea a lot in terms of, so you can actually, it's really hard to tell, but you can actually see my health. So my health is full, but let me show you something here quick. Do you see the in the compass at the top there, you see the green circle?
Yes.
Where I am. So we're going to test this live, folks. Tell me if, so do you see there's a bright green border around it?
So now you're at half.
Yeah, now I'm at half health. Now I'm even going lower.
So right up top.
And then I'll go back up to 1,000. Now I'm at full health. So did you see that green border change? Okay. So obviously there's little things like that, and what that is demonstrating is that the system is in place.
Exactly.
Now what we have to do is just work on the UI to make it a lot more clear.
So is
Probably
it
just
are
drain
you
the-
planning on keeping it something compass based, or like a more permanent visual?
Right, like little bars. I don't know. We haven't played with that too much to figure out what we want to do there. My goal. So we have a new health and stamina iteration coming in that's going to make it a lot more clear when you are lower on stamina. My goal is really to show you the information in kind of the most unobtrusive way possible and only when you really need it. So for example,
Does he have new
the
pants?
goal of the central
Oh, he does
HUD
have pants.
for the stamina and health is when you're at full health and stamina, you really have trouble seeing anything.
Yeah, which
And when
is
you're-
which is
and when
fine.
you're
I like that.
Right, well, it's
CNOS did
actually-
say something that he thinks it's a dated thing, but I like it.
Yeah, so it's interesting finding a way to. So some games used to do this, but the inspiration for this game is we watched a lot of like competitive Counter-Strike and WoW players, and they all do this. And I'm like, if the higher end people are all doing this, there's got to be a good reason. And it's essentially when you're
My
in
pants.
combat,
Where's the shop?
you only need to know two things, and that's just health and stamina. Everything else kind of goes by the wayside. And so putting that center and getting all of the rest of the clutter off of the screen is a priority. But it's not to say that the iteration that we're on right now is perfect. Looking at how we can accomplish this goal and make it clearer and easier to understand is where we want to iterate to.
So one thing that Swillis said is if we're keeping the health of each player on there, maybe make
Yet.
Absolutely. So what? Just as an idea, so you've been working on the game for over 2 years. There's still a lot of systems. I'm really interested in talking about the reputation system that we were talking about earlier. And I really want to check out if you've got. I don't know if you have a dungeon that we can check out. But
Yep.
I'm really excited to see those things kind of implemented into the survival genre. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is this jump.
Oh yeah. So this is the default Unreal jump height, and we just have not gotten around to adjusting it. So while we're here, let's just jump around for the stream.
Yeah.
And stream chat, you can tell me percentage wise how much should this be reduced?
All right, direct.
And I will, if we could have a consensus or some overlap in terms.
Obviously, it's something that you're going to have to iterate on to fine tune. Maybe take it down, 30%, and then see how that feels. But right now we're flying. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So-
Exactly.
But they're saying
So-
25 to 50%. But honestly, just like anyone else would say, you got to see it, and then once you see it and you're able to do it, then you'll know that feel, if it's right or if it feels wonky, But right now we're on the moon.
Yeah, we're going to reduce that by, let's say, 35% to start with. See what happens. So the animations.
Oh, can we
in
jump
terms
on
of
each
getting-
other?
Not in a PvE zone. There's no collision in a PvE
No
zone.
collision.
In a PvP zone, there is player collision. I don't know.
So like I can jump on your head to jump over someone's wall?
I'm not. I mean, theoretically, yes. I don't know how easy it is to like balance on a head like that. I haven't tested that in a while.
Entries have
I would
stopped
like
for the
to say
giveaway.
yes, but I haven't
Let's
tested
get that
We'll have
going.
to go out to a PvE.
Yo,
zone
no
and
life
do
for
that
you've
little
won.
test.
Hit exclamation mark roll so we can see what that is.
I'm gonna make myself some arrows, and yeah, so we can just chat, and go kill some mutants and
Yeah, let's go.
loot some
We'll
houses.
keep talking. So I notice we don't have the talent system in yet, but
Nope.
I also see that we've got health, intellect, endurance, agility, strength. What is your guys' goals with having those type of stats on your character?
Right. So there's what we want to do, just like with dungeons, we want to bring something from the MMO genre into the survival genre in a way, or at least at a depth that you really don't see too often. And we want a
closer to an
three-tiered
RPG than an MMO.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, RPG or MMORPG or whichever one you want. But in the sense of we want a three-tiered player progression system.
Oh, what the hell is this?
Oh,
there's beasts. They're coming in. Watch out.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh wow. They're okay. Let's go back outside. There's gonna be like a I don't know where they came from.
Oh man.
Okay. I'll try to.
Oh man. I don't know where my health
missing
is.
this guy. Oh, this lady. Oh, a little bit of cellular. Oh, I'm gonna lead him to you.
Nice.
Well done. And we can, so you can go near the bodies anytime you're in close proximity to open loot. You can just hit tab, and in the bottom right hand side of the screen,
full loot. Very, very what is it, like Battle Royale-esque. You see that often.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
But Rusk-like, where every action has a time. So picking
yeah,
up
if
that
you want
loot.
to do that, you can also double click and it goes a lot faster. But yeah, exactly. And then there's another. I think it's a little bit bugged right now, but holding down Control and mousing over should also pick it up. But yeah, what we want is when you are looting, particularly loot out in the open world or off of bodies, we do want to give it a time so that you can't just kill another player and then loot their bodies so fast.
Looks to be
that
physical.
Nobody can
Yeah.
kind of stop you.
But we'll
We want
ask if
that
there's any
looting
hit scan
process to be
weapons.
a little bit more of a risk-reward balance.
Will there be any hit scan weapons?
So all of the rifles right now are hit scan weapons.
All right.
So we're doing that because solving the network performance issue with a projectile-based firearm is a big challenge right now, and it's just so much easier and so much quicker on the server to do it with hit scan. So all of our guns are essentially like insta hit with range, damage modifiers, and all of the other stuff. So I'm just going to go through the chat here. So in terms of the animations are something that it's a kind of a never-ending battle. So in a game like this, there's a lot of limitation with what you can do to achieve. So the technical term is something called root motion. Oh god, why are you running in one spot? It is called root motion, and root motion essentially means that when my character takes a step forward, the place where my foot plants on the ground is the place where my character's body moves to, and it ends up creating animations that look very realistic and have a lot of weight to them. But we can't do that in a game of this scale because we have to replicate the animations on the server, and that means every time I take a step forward, there's network traffic going back and forth regarding my step, as opposed to right now we're playing just a looping animation and there's network traffic going back and forth regards to my player's location, which is infinitely cheaper than replicating the actual movement of the animation. So it's a tough balance to strike in games like this compared to single player or smaller games. It's a never-ending process, and the animations they're definitely going to be worked on for sure.
So Locust Lab, I think you saw, he wants to know if you're doing inverse or forward kinematics.
So there's a bit of both. So it's mainly forward for now, but inverse kinematics we have a system in place that's going to be using more of that when it comes to positioning your limbs on slopes and steps and whatnot, and also to do more with like we are playing around with more ragdolling, which that's where IK is going to come into effect a lot more frequently. But ragdolling also prevents its own unique challenges in a game of this scale, because we have to we have normally in a game like 7 days or whatever, you're just simulating the ragdoll locally and then guesstimating where the player's corpse is going to end up going. But in a game like this, we have to simulate a lot more on the network to do with the ragdolling, so that when I'm looking at a character to loot them, the position of their body after ragdolling forever is actually the position of the body. And so, again, it's another balancing act between network performance and just what looks good and what looks accurate.
I'm sure you've looked at some of the arc raids on official PvP. I'm not sure if you've ever seen some of them, but in general, they're terrible, right?
Right.
Huge ping, so much going on. What is your take? We're gonna have huge waves of NPCs, right, attacking bases, people attacking bases. How many people are you looking for per server, and how are you looking to address like the actual playability with a lot of people on server?
By playability, you just mean performance?
Performance, yes.
Right. So performance-wise,
oh man,
the key is decoupling as many systems from the game server as possible. So it's right now in most Unreal games,
it's got a range,
or any of these kind of games, out of the box, unless you've got a big studio that wants to spend $1 million on their back end, you have a lot of systems running on the game server. It's it's the reason why you can host private servers in Rust and Arc and whatnot, is everything just runs on one server. And what we need is we need to decouple as many of those systems as possible, because when we decouple authentication, when we decouple persistence and all of these other systems, we free up 5% of the CPU here, 10% there, and we end up being able to spread the load out over more physical servers. So our goal is 500 players per world, and a world consists of this above ground space that we're playing in, all of the dungeons, and then potentially we got a screamer behind you.
Oh man.
And then
so
all of the
I'm
dungeons,
half biotoxic right now. What's that mean?
so that means that that's your toxicity. So we're going to want to find some. I think there must be a huge siege or something going on right now. So like I was hinting at earlier, we are experiencing some pretty ugly server issues today. It almost feels like something has been corrupted on our server, and things are getting progressively worse. In 2 years, I've never seen this. So it's unfortunate, but in February, our last stress test, we had 200 players in a server, and we had room to breathe. And so how we want to hit 500 is by decoupling systems and by spreading people out over many servers. So dungeons, for example, would be on their own servers. If you do have a big raid going on a base, that would get its own server for a period of time. And so it's just about moving people around and moving systems around, so that we're being covered by as many CPUs as possible, or as many cores at least.
So decoupling to back-end server, or make a lot of things client-side, how are you going to combat cheating with that then?
Yeah, so this is a server authoritative game, so everything needs to go through the server. By decoupling, I mean we're decoupling it over many different servers. So for example, the way that our proxy server system works is that when clients are connecting to the game server and they're sending instructions for persistence calls or health updates or whatnot, they don't send those updates to a game server, because the game server is the biggest bottleneck in the operation. What they do is they send updates to the proxy server, and then that proxy server will route the information to whichever server needs it. So if I'm dropping an item on the ground, my data goes to the proxy server, and the proxy server sends it to the world database server. If I'm giving you an item, then it sends that data to the player inventory server. If I'm taking damage, it sends it to the player persistence server, and so on and so forth. So it's allowing us to kind of control and fork data to multiple different destination points, instead of it all having to go to the same server that's handling the AI calculations, the physics calculations, and all of that.
Do you
So it's
plan
just a
on
lot of custom back-end stuff.
do you plan on having only official servers, or will there be private servers?
So we've talked about private servers in a way. Based on everything that I've said so far, you can imagine that this is not the type of game where you can spin up a server in your basement, because all of the game servers need to be connected in the same data center to the rest of our servers for persistence and whatnot. So it's something where people might be able to lease servers from us, but it's more MMO in that regard. Oh god, it's more MMO in that regard than anything else.
Which is perfect. I like the fact that it's more MMO-esque, right? That's why I'm really interested on your take on dungeons. I think adding those kind of things to the survival genre is the right direction, right? As long as it's done well in its own way, because it provides that extra game loop that a lot of survival games don't have, and it's fun. It's fun to go and do those things and have something cooperative to do with people you meet in the game.
I mean, one of the things that we're really trying to shoot for, I got some med kits here if you want some. One of the things that we're trying to shoot for is PvE as more than just kind of an ends or a means to an end. A lot of times in games like Rust and whatnot, the PvE is more just to get stuff that's going to further some other part of your character path. It's less about doing PvE because you really enjoy it. It's more because I want to get the loot, or I want to get the items, or I want to do something else. So what we really want to do, what we really want to do is make the PvE experience itself rewarding, so that you want to do it just to do it. And I think that's what's missing in a lot of these games. But in MMOs, I mean, that's what half the game is. You're trying to figure out how to do that boss
arrows, I think, real quick.
Yeah, I got some.
Is there a tribe or company, or is it just in party?
So right now it is just in party, and before we go ahead and put something like a company or a house or a clan, we need to do a lot of work to balance the large group versus small group dynamic, because that's probably the biggest risk that we face in a game like this. It's obviously going to be a challenge to balance PvP and PvE.
Yeah, that'll always be the issue.
Yeah.
And how you guys are approaching the low sec, high sec, the PvE, the reputation, that'll allow the smaller groups to sustain, survive, be able to maintain. But there will always be, especially streamer-driven large groups, right? Once you get the big boys in here with their thousands of viewers, there are going to be hundreds of people running around together. It's just the nature of the beast now.
Did you play Atlas much?
I was on day one, yeah.
So what do you think, or how do you feel they manage the small group, large group with their whole tax system?
I do like that it incentivizes, but I think on Atlas it did take away from them, right?
Oh, okay.
I think there was a...
Oh, man.
Yeah, we need to get out of here. There was I think it was Last Oasis. Their tax system, I thought, was actually decent, because it incentivized allowing players to still play on the land of large people by giving them a bonus, but didn't take away from the small group, right? So the tax system in Atlas was they got a portion of whatever you farmed, right? That doesn't feel good, knowing that someone's taking your loot, even if they're letting you live there. While on Last Oasis, them letting you live there didn't affect how much they farmed, right? Didn't take away, but just gave bonus to the landlords, if you may, you know?
I see what you're saying. So the landlords are still getting kind of the equivalent of what you would get in Atlas. It's just it's not coming at the expense of the solos.
Yeah, it's not taking at the expense, to the point that you wanted as many people on your land as possible, because it was great on Last Oasis to go to the proxy and have all of this loot, you know, that maybe your guys did produce as well, right? because a portion of everything farmed, whether it was your own group or other groups, small groups on the land, you got a portion of that. But it didn't make it feel bad like on Atlas. Oh, I should be getting 10 and I'm only getting 8. You know, I don't want to fucking excuse my language. I don't want to stay here. You know,
Yeah.
let's go somewhere else.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So in my chat, someone's asking, what are the hopes for longevity with needing 4 more servers per world and having to keep all the servers in house? There's a risk or concern that the game gets to the point of being unprofitable, wanting to discontinue developer player losing. So in terms of the cost for something like this, it even though it is 4 servers, you just posted a link to our drones Twitch. So in the world, we'll see if it finds us over the course of the stream, but we do have a live streaming drone.
I saw that. That was very cool.
Right. So that's something that we're going to be using to help balance the PvE PvP. So we can talk more about our reputation system and how that's really one of the core features of the PvX balance. And the drone, what the drone essentially is going to do is it's going to be looking for the lowest reputation players in areas where they're probably more likely to cause trouble, and just it follows them and streams them until it gets bored.
Really?
And finds somebody else.
Okay.
Right,
So the people that are griefing the most get targeted
right, and then
but in a low sec or high sec area, or
so the moment they enter into a low sec area, they're going to start, basically generating heat, and the heat, once the heat reaches a certain point, that's when the drone is going to say, okay, let's go check this person out. And if they're in a high sec area, they're just immediately going to get flagged. I mean, in the high sec area, the idea is the moment you start taking out PvP weapons in a high sec area, you're going to start raising alarms, and the drone's going to either come after you or NPC guards are going to come after you. But in a low sec area, it's still something where we want you to attract attention. You're just going to have a little bit more leeway. And in a null sec area, well, you can do whatever you want.
Does lowering or laying down or crouching affect stamina regen?
Yeah, it pretty much regens it instantly after about a second.
Good to know. And we did talk about, I see Do asking for a key. We did talk about being able to give Chat some keys. How do you want to do this?
Oh, that's right. So I can just send those over to you via the Discord, and then let you do that. And then we usually also do a second chance giveaway as well. And I can, so I just sent you 2 over there. So let me know. I don't know. I guess you want to just use
I just started a giveaway right now.
Maybe you have your volume. Oh, there's definitely automatic weapons going up, but we're in a PvE zone, so we should be okay. We should be okay.
So someone's got automatic weapons over here?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So our AI like to run up on cars, but they can't get off of them. So you see how these are our cannibals. You see how they're wearing an orange shirt?
Mm-hmm.
So most cannibals have red shirts on. These ones have orange shirts on. The way our cannibals work, and coming back to kind of what we're wanting to do with PvE to make it a little bit more interesting, and of course the irony as I'm saying this is the least interesting PvE. She's stuck on a car. But somebody came through here before us and killed these mutants. And if we, or that person, if you don't clean up the bodies when you're done, then dead bodies will start attracting cannibals to them. And if there are no cannibals in the area, then the dead bodies will start spawning cannibals within a radius, and they'll start eating on the corpses. And the longer they eat, the faster their run speed is, the more damage they do, and the more health they have. So the red ones, so the red ones are naturally spawning cannibals that have just been attracted, and the orange ones are the ones that were spawned in because there were not enough natural cannibals in the area to attract to the body.
So it's it's common then to loot, and then if you're not trying to get them to spawn, to clean up the bodies.
Yeah, right. Then you definitely don't want them to spawn because you don't get any loot from orange cannibals. They're just useless. I mean, I guess you could harvest meat from them,
But we can also attempt to make. Is there going to be a cap on how many cannibals spawn, or is it something that we're going to be able to force spawn a bunch to try to train them into someone?
Yeah, so you'll be able to. I think it's 3 cannibals per body with a max cannibal count in a certain area. So I thought that was an automatic weapon, but it might have just been